You have worked hard for most of your life and you have made some money. So then why does it still feel like it hasn't turned into true financial freedom? There seems to be a disconnect between how hard you've worked and what that money has actually done for you and your life. Hi, my name is Yulin Lee. As a money empowerment coach and a spiritual mentor, I have spent over a decade helping women who are smart, capable, and responsible, but still feel like something is still missing financially for them. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you about the disconnect and the misalignment that many people live in without even knowing it. And then I'm going to show you how to break out of this pattern to get realigned, to have more congruency in your life. Because this, my friend, is the key to move into and live your life in a flow state. So first, let's talk about the disconnect and the misalignment. So now let's first look at how you spend your days. If you're an entrepreneur, you probably are hustling constantly. You fill your calendar with marketing activities, sales conversations, all for what? For money. And if you're an employee, you probably put in long hours to make sure that your employer sees your value. All for what? So that you can be recognized and get a good raise. Now let's look at how you spend your time outside of work. For many people, their time is spent on anything except on money. They don't regularly review their finances. They don't think about how to have the money that they already have to start working for them. So the irony is this. On one hand, you're working hard day in, day out to try to make more money, to have more money in your life. And yet on the other hand, you're avoiding money. For the money that comes in the door, you hardly pay attention to it. So what happens then? You end up becoming the revolving door for money. Think of it like this. Money comes in on one hand and it goes out the other way. Money comes in and go out. And you end up spending your life staying trapped in this hypnotic rhythm of money in, money out, money in, money out. Nothing stays. And this is why, after working so hard for so many years, you don't feel any closer to financial freedom. So how do we break out of this? By falling in love with money. Now, you might say, well, that sounds cute, but what does that really mean? How do I really do that? Well, here are 4 simple steps that I'm going to walk you through right now. Think about what happens when you fall in love with a person. You naturally want to spend more time with that person. You want to get to know more about him or her, what he likes, what he doesn't like. Same thing with money. When you fall in love with money, you naturally want to have a closer relationship to money. And what does that look like? How do you build that closer relationship to money? Well, step number 1, fall in love with yourself. You know, your behavior around money is a mirror of your self-image and your self-worth. Let that sink in for a little bit. I know this may be a big thing for some people, especially women, where we tend to wrap a lot of emotions around our relationship to money and our own self-worth. This is the big elephant in the room, and that's why I'm addressing it first. Because this is also the foundation from which all of the other steps are built. So here are some questions to help you reflect on this topic. Number 1, what did you learn about money from your parents? From your mom, from your dad? With the many women that I have helped over the years, what I hear a lot is that I learned this from my dad and I learned that from my mom. And therefore, as a child and now as an adult, I'm always confused about money. So now it's time for you to really think about exactly what you learned from each of them. And from those things, what story are you still living with right now? Any negative thoughts or judgmental statements that you heard growing up? Things like, oh, that's for rich people. We can't afford that. Or things like, money doesn't grow on trees. And you can ask yourself, what stories would I like to have about money? If I were to write a love letter to money, what would that look like? If I were to describe my relationship to money to someone else, how would I want to describe it? Here's an affirmation for you to complete. I deserve financial freedom because you fill in the blank. Second step, fall in love with your numbers. I know many people would claim that I'm not a numbers person, especially for many women. They would say that I'm not a numbers person. But is that really true? Or is it just a conditioning and a label that you have adopted and that you had decided unknowingly that that's how you would think of yourself and look at yourself? What if you change that identity to someone, hey, I'm good with numbers? Even if it doesn't feel that way, when you decide that you want to change to a different identity, then you can start acting differently, and then numbers wouldn't be so scary. And for many of the clients that I work with, here's another affirmation that I want to share with you. I would have them say, numbers are sexy, and I love playing with my numbers. So use that as your daily affirmation to help you fall in love with your numbers. Again, numbers are just numbers. How we feel about it is the meaning that we had decided to give it. And so now we can make a different decision. And by the way, I have created a worksheet to help you walk through these steps. Be sure to click the link in the description below for a free download. Step number 3, fall in love with being a planner. If you're someone who have been mostly living from paycheck to paycheck, then you must first start shifting your own identity to someone who plans for the future. And ultimately, if you want to have a pile of money there waiting for you when you get older, when you don't want to work anymore or unable to work anymore, then you got to start planning now and work towards it. If we don't do that now, how do you expect to have a pile of money sitting there waiting for you when you're older? Now, philosophically, you might have heard people say, live as if this is your last day. Live as if there's no tomorrow. Yes, sounds great philosophically, but financially, that doesn't work. If you want to have a secure future when you're older, when you're in your most vulnerable stage in your life. And so this is where we want to apply discernment and create that balance between, yeah, we want to live in the present moment, but at the same time, financially, we do need to plan. We do need to practice planning. And in order to do that, you first need to become a planner, right? So changing your identity, changing your self-image is a key here. Step number 4, fall in love with continuous learning and growing. There is an old Chinese saying that says, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. It's because everything else around us is moving forward. Just like how you would behave in your job with your career, whatever you do, you probably need to keep learning, staying up to date in the industry that you're in. Same thing with money. The financial world is constantly changing. Your needs may be changing as you move through different phases of your life. And so the constant learning, the desire to keep growing is key to also being in love with money. So it's not a one-time thing that I'm going to learn these things. I'm going to learn about investing, or I'm going to learn about investing in real estate or a particular stock, and then I'm done, right? This is a continuous, this is part of your life. It's a way of living. Well, there you have it. 4 simple steps to fall in love with your money so that you can truly start living your life where your desire and your actions are nicely aligned. And this is when true manifestation happens. Again, I have created a worksheet that helps you walk through the steps. So the link is down in the description below. Click on that for a free download. And lastly, if you're a woman in midlife who are going through a transition in your life where you're asking different questions now, you're looking for your purpose in life, you're looking for meaning, and you're looking for a more empowering feeling towards your money, towards building the life that you truly want to live, then be sure to subscribe to my channel, because this is where I dedicate my life in helping women going through the transition and move into the next chapter of their life where they are the main character, where they are the director of their life. So subscribe, and I'll see you next week.